What is up, everyone? I am Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tool Supra.
Comes back. He's gonna send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're gonna. Joshua Banks is gonna win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of M&J Distributors, for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to VSPEED and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free. for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on track.
Start your engines! And for the first time this season, the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, Shadow gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League. First of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix. But the 73 of Joseph McWhorter is going to be your season 2 champion. Here he comes off of turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway.
Banks takes him 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Look at this, 3 wide again. The top 3 still 3 wide for the lead. Banks on the inside, right in the middle, Kevin on the outside.
I can't believe what I'm watching right now.
Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind. This is my prime. Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind.
Pull those belts tight. You're watching Saturday Night Racing League, only on VSPEED.
Here we are back at the venue. We just left you out half an hour ago, live here on VSPEED. But this week, it's a little bit different. For Saturday Night Racing League and their Cup Series, it's race number 8 of the top tier. Season number 4 brings us to another 1.5 miles, but it's the new configuration of the Kentucky Speedway. Live here on VSPEED, presented by M&J Distributors. It's Saturday Night Racing League. Welcome in, I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside all season long, Connor Horn. Connor, I gotta say right now, on these next-gen cars, this is gonna be a difficult venue to get around.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for sure. It's a very treacherous racetrack. It doesn't really drive like how you think it would. We're going to see this groove change a lot throughout this race, I think, especially during the daytime. We haven't been here in the Cup Series, not this version of it. We've been to the old version with the worn out layout at this 1.5 miles in Sparta, Kentucky, but never the new layout with the new pavement and really flat 3 and 4. It's kind of like a reverse Kentucky. They flip both ends of the racetrack, it almost seems like, because you're going to be very much more on the throttle in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 very treacherous, very flat. You can wreck someone or yourself very easily. You're going to see that groove move up. I've seen in seasons past, in other series especially, that groove is going to move up, not what you're expecting it to be. So these drivers are going to really have to be careful of how that groove moves up during the race. It's almost going to feel like a dirt track, that how much it's going to move up in 3 and 4 especially. So that should be fun to follow in these next-gen cars. We look at the points. Bailey Turner, even after missing Talladega, still dominating. Donald Kite, huge emotional first win at Talladega last week. Second in the points, definitely the breakout star of the season. J.R. Shepard, Sturgill, Horonis having great seasons. Adam Cabot with 2 D's in Adam's first name for whatever reason. In 6th in points, even though he's not fully full-time. Klinger, Kibbe, Lakatos. Jeff Wright, former series champion, finally up to the top 10 in points. Carwow 13th. after last week. Shinovsky, who was pretty high up the points, fell pretty far back. We're starting to see a much bigger picture in the points, as well as Chambliss and Stravato, 2 winners this season on fuel mileage, 19th and 20th in points. Those drivers, if they want a chance at the championship, they got to get going. And this is probably the most basic track we'll see on the schedule for the rest of the season. But even then, it's still not that basic.
Well, anyway, I can find a way to butcher Adam Cabot's name, I'll find a way. Last time, I think I mixed up the O and the A. But here we look at the schedule, and we're going on here for Challenger Series to Cup Series. Very similar venues, although they are legacy versus the current configuration. And even if you go off of current, the Cup Series doesn't come here. So this is going to be kind of out of the realm for what this car is actually equipped for. There's not really a support for this car to come to this racetrack. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve as we progress through this race. And you look at the race analysis on your screen, it's 140 laps here today with a 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. 4 tire sets will be available, not as abrasive as what we saw in the Challenger Series, but still a racetrack that's narrow groove on the exits. It will chew up the tires, and this car a little bit higher on the aerodynamic side of things. So look for these drivers to try to lean on the right rear more than the right front. We'll see them try to pass on the inside and probably stay side by side for most of the backstretch. With that, though, we're going to go trackside and get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole with a 30.937, it's Ben Baffert in the number 42. How many times have we saw this car up front to start a race? Hasn't got the race that he deserves and the finishing that he deserves. Let's see if he can wrap it up here. Chad Klinger on the outside, 0.003 of a second for row number 2. Angelo Horonis, Bailey Turner, 3rd and 4th position. AJ Stravato and Seth Hatchell making his comeback here. Good to see the number 8 back out on the racetrack. The race rate, of course, here. Oh, man. It's good to see the number 8 back out on the racetrack, VSPEED's very own. Jeff Wright will start in the 7th position with Ryan Carwile in 8th, and rounding out your top 10, J.R. Shepard. Casey Lakatos in the number 50 will round out your top 10.
And like you said, it's great to see Seth. His first start since Darlington in November in this series. Hopefully he has a good run. He does have an EOL. He might have elected to take that personally. Elliott Butler also been making a comeback of his own in the league racing. He starts 11th. Good result for him in qualifying. Reggie Ortega, Daytona winner a few seasons ago, starts in the 12th position. 13th position right behind them, James Lehman in the 05, who's been pretty fast all season long, just hasn't been getting the results. He'll be alongside Dakota Floyd in the 57, who had a real shot at winning last week. He starts 14th. 15th position, the other teammate to Ben Baffert, Alec Martinez, another one of VSPEED's very own, in the Family Dollar Camry. He starts 15th alongside Josh Adams, who had a little bit of a dust-up with McWhorter last week in 16th tonight. Nick Wood, the 27, will start in a 17th position. No sponsors on that Ford Mustang. He'll be alongside Michael Sturgill, who probably has one of our RSR driver cams tonight, and he'll start back in 18th position. And rounding out the top 20, the top half of the field, Bryce Shoemaker in the 54, who was impressive last week as well. He'll be alongside the 06 of Nick Hapiak, one of those juicy Spider Ford Mustangs, starting in 20th.
21st goes to Rob Hampton at number 4. Brandon Wallace will start 22nd. 23rd, Matt Shinovsky. Broderick Baklavic will start in 24th. 25th goes to Julio Villalobos Jr. Logan Threlkel will start in 26th. 27th, Donnie Kite, second in points. Had that victory at Talladega. Benjamin Richards will start in 28th next to him. And then it's Caleb Weekly and Rob Denton for 29th and 30th.
And then kind of the back part of the field, Eddie Trejo will start in 31st. Stefan Davis in 32nd in his number 64 Mustang. 33rd position behind them will be Mike Sturgill in the 53. Not Michael, that's Mike in the 53, starting 33rd. Clark Ganekin, another one of those teammates with Martinez and Baffert. He'll start 34th. He should have a fast car tonight. 35th, Tyler Dohar in his 77, former pro NASCAR Heat driver. He starts 35th. Kenny Kibbe, very fast, but doesn't qualify a lot. He'll have work to do from 36th. 37th position behind the 77 of Dohar. That should B, the 63 Max Cost, still looking for his first career victory in this series. He'll have work to do tonight. Christopher Hodges, who had a solid run last week, going starting 38th. And the final row of this the 40 car field, Austin Belke in the 89, as well as Ben Laughter in the 40th position. That's our 40 driver field as we're coming to the restart zone for our first race at the new Kentucky Speedway.
And I believe Tyler Johar having a connection issue to start this thing out. So unfortunate there for the 77 machine. But here we go for week number 8 of the Cup Series Saturday Night Racing League into the restart zone. First time here from Kentucky, SNR. Turn 1 with the 42. No surprise here. Ben Baffert will lead lap number 1. What is surprising, though, is Angelo Horonis gained that spot. He's going to go to the outside here in 1 and 2. Peeks to the outside, nothing there. A little bit of a difficult drive off. Bailey Turner in 3rd position. And the 09 of Chad Klinger has lost 2 spots already, back to 4th.
Oh, we got a car on the wall in the way, not way back, but kind of mid-pack. It was Eddie Trejo. He kept it straight, though. But this is going to be a very tough race to pass at. You're very full throttle, turns 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. It's so treacherous, you almost don't want to pass at that end of the racetrack. So you're going to be being very careful on the initial run of this race, just trying to figure out where your car sticks in regards to the rest of the other drivers. We're 3 wide for about the 29th position. It's also picks up a few positions, but you're going to just try to bide your time right now. Just really trying to make sure you have a handle of your race car. But like you said, Angelo Horonis, really good qualifying position, looking for his first win of the season in this series, and he's definitely someone everyone likes, but he's going to maybe have to get aggressive tonight to get that first victory. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if he has a victory in this series. I don't think he does, but I don't know. I don't remember.
He's got really, really close if he doesn't.
I apologize if I'm messing up. I don't think he does have a win. He's trying to become, I guess, the 22nd. We might go back-to-back first-time winners tonight. You never know, but already looking pretty strong, going to be inside of Baffert for the lead. But this will be stacked up for a little while before these drivers get spread out. These next-gen cars, they're kind of pack racing at the mile-and-a-halfs on iRacing. You're going to see that for the first 20 laps or so. Then we'll see this field get spread out. As long as we can get to that point as Horonis challenging for the lead.
He does get that lap led this time by for lap number 4, and he'll go to the lead officially ahead of the 42 out of turn 2. 24 of Bailey Turner, who's had a dominant start to this season. How many times have we talked about 4 times in a row? Well, he made the record.
Talked about him a lot this season. Some would argue maybe a little too much, but when you win 4 in a row, that's going to work. His only losses this season, well, he didn't start Talladega in fuel mileage at Canadian Tire, the only other race he didn't win. So he could still get a 5th win very easily, but obviously we're still a long way to go. Slide from Casey Lacotis. He's able to save it on the bottom of the racetrack, but this Bailey Turner machine, that 24 is going to be tough to beat when we get to the VRL chase.
Wow.
He's into the 48 of Jeff J right there. He's going to be tough to beat later in the season, but we got a long way to go, and anything can happen in a chase, but you don't want to make enemies. He almost made an enemy out of the 48 there, as Jeff Wright got 3rd away with contact there from the 24.
Co-commentator and a champion here in the Cup Series just in front of Bailey Turner. We've had 3 different champions with Jeff Wright. Then we have McWhorter and Joshua Banks. And it's been a variety of different cars as well through the seasons. This is the first time that we've had the next gen through the series. And you saw the 24 Bailey Turner, he kind of had it figured out before everybody else. Now you're starting to see some of the fan favorites put it on here. 42 of Baffert has fallen fast.
I think this is strategy from Baffert, though. He's going to try to hard save the tires, kind of like we'll see his teammate Martinez try to do during this race, who's also not fallen back, but he's still in the 13th position. They'll kind of really conserve the tires early and then push them later in the run. As long as we get that long run, it'll work out for the 43 and 42. man, that was tight. 33 almost got into Baffert there. But you can see Baffert maybe conserving too much. When you're trying to conserve tires, oh, we got a caution. So scratch that. Got some crashing in turn number 1. Austin Belke and Clark Enekin, the 84. Looks like they both have pretty big damage. First caution of the night.
Right here on lap number 9, 84 getting the worst end of this, and we'll back it up on our VSPEED instant replay and take a look at this.
First replay of the night. Kind of far back. Cross the line 31st did Belke, and was kind of came together there. It's almost like Enekin wasn't really anticipating Belke to check up for turn 1 as hard as he did, and just didn't quite, just kind of misjudged it. Might get a better view from the 84's hood cam, roof cam, I should say. But they were running 31st and 32nd on lap number 9. Getting a run on Belke here, got a little bit of draft, looking inside. Yeah, it almost looked like, I think Enekin just really checked. The 89 checks up, I think, much harder than the 84 was expecting. So just a little bit of a misjudgment on the 84's part. Unfortunately, him and Belke get pretty big damage out of it.
When you saw the initial contact, it looks like Enekin got loose after the contact.
Yeah, I don't think any of that was intentional. Just a little bit of a misjudgment. You'll have that sometimes at the rear of the field. A lot of drivers trying to feel their braking points out, where they have to lift, where they don't have to lift, and just a little bit of misjudgment there on lap number 9 gets us our first yellow. And kind of surprisingly, I saw a lot more pit stops there than I thought I would. Jeff Wright pit from the runner-up position. Chad Klinger, Baffert, and a few other drivers in the top 15 pit. I'm kind of surprised that close to the beginning of the race, so many drivers came down to pit.
And the 42 might have got a speeding penalty out of this.
He's sitting there. I'm trying to look. I don't know if I see a black flag, but maybe he did speed on entry and decided to go to the rear. I can't imagine he had damage. Didn't see anything visually from the 42 that he would have had damage. Almost looked like he took fuel only from my view, but I don't know why he would have lost so many spots from that. But if he did take fuel only, trying to save his set for later in the race maybe, but already only 10 laps in, we're seeing some interesting strategy. Like I said, I did not expect people to really pit for tires there, let alone just fuel, but strategy might be very fluent today.
Angelo Horonis is going to remain your leader with Bailey Turner, AJ Stravato, Ryan Carwile, and Reggie Ortega on the top 5. And yeah, a little bit confused here with the 42 of Baffert. He only had 19.6 in the box, and so a penalty usually goes over that 30-second threshold, regardless of how long you actually have service in that stall. It's going to add on that hold penalty, maybe a bathroom break. I'm not entirely sure. Sometimes, it gets the best of us here.
I did need that before earlier, as we're seeing Martinez also come down to pit road. He came down when pits were open. He's going to come down again. Maybe there's some fuel strategy that we're not aware of here. He's right behind Seth Hatchell. Once again, very happy to have him back in this series. His only win in this series came at Kentucky, a very different car in the Gen 4s, also a very different track. He's just going to roll through, actually. I believe, looking at him at the rear of the field after the EOL, he's been having some connection issues after qualifying 6th, but really, really great to see him back on track.
So side-by-side, double back up here for lap number 12. We'll go back green on lap 13, and this will be the second time the iRacing pace car has had to get out of the way here tonight at Kentucky. It was very limited on the cautions there in the Challenger Series, but this car a little bit more difficult, and it's proven that it's more difficult over the course of the season. Our caution average has been a little bit higher here in the Cup Series, but the talent level has remained the same. There's a lot of people that cross that threshold on both series. We've seen in the Cup Series caution-free racing. We're still getting acquainted and acclimated to this car. Let's see what we got here for lap 13. As the pace car pulls off, into that restart zone we go. Green flag back out here at Kentucky at lap 13.
Reggie Ortega did not get going third car on the bottom line at all, but Ronis and the 33 of Stravato were able to get going. 29 should be able to keep the lead, but Ortega just not ready for the restart. We got some 3 wide at the way back. Ronis keeps the lead.
And the way back that you're talking about, it's right here with the 13 of Caleb Weekly. He was in the middle. He's still got Jeff Wright to the inside. These are the drivers that came down pit road just a moment ago.
Yeah, Wright the first one to peel off, surprisingly, from that second position. So if he wants that track position back, he's going to have some work to do, but I can't imagine the tires are going to help that much more than the ones that didn't pit. The fall off was only maybe 2-3 tenths of a second, so he's still going to have a pretty tough time trying to get that track position back just with the extra tires.
AJ Stravado to the inside, or outside rather, of the 71. He'll pick up the third position. Ryan Carwall falls back to fourth. Side by side just behind him with Elliott Butler and James Lehman.
And Lehman's had some flashes of speed. He was actually very quick at Texas a month or so back, but didn't get the finish he deserved there, and also just has not been getting finishes overall. But looking fast once again tonight, maybe able to flip the script, maybe get a top 10 run, maybe even top 5. He's looking for 6th on Butler. He's also had a pretty good start to the race after some drivers ahead of him hit, except for that 6th position. J.R. Shepard just behind these guys. He's been very consistent as well. 3rd in the points, 3 top 5s. To go along, obviously, with the 3 top 10s. Those go hand in hand. He's also had a pretty good season, good start to the season, I should say.
J.R. Shepard is another name that goes right up there with Bailey Turner of just solid finishes. Turner's going to go for the lead right here.
About to say, we're talking about Bailey Turner. He's going to go for the lead. I don't think Coronas really wanted to challenge him right there. He's got some drivers in the wall out of 4.
He's going to challenge him to the outside.
He wants that track position. I think clean air is going to be pretty important, but decides to get back in line. So Bailey Turner, shocker, shocker, back to the race lead on lap number 17. Finally back to the lead in Saturday night on lap 17, his first lead of the night.
And not as good of a run there when we went to Canadian Tire. There's been some asterisks here with the super speedway, the road course, you know, maybe probably in the top 3, but just problems there later at Canadian Tire. And as you already see right here, the 29 Angelo Horonis is he's gonna show his strength. I think right now what we're witnessing is a guy that put a lot of time into this race, and the 29's ready to go.
Get any sort of run on driver ahead, you got to take advantage. You cannot just let them get away with a mistake like that. Turner just didn't get that good of a run out of turn number 4. Horonis able to capitalize, and Turner not able to really fight him back out of turn number 4 that time. So 29 back to the front. A little bit of a gap back to AJ Stravado in 3rd, but not too big of a gap as this field tries to sort out amongst each other. A single file throughout really the top 5, and then a little side by side with Lehman and Shepard.
Jeff Wright just got by the 54. Bryce Shoemaker working his way back towards the top 10. And Connor, I got to ask, you know, coming down pit road there, do you agree with that? That was a 4-tire pit stop. I know they have 4 sets available, but I feel like that was a little bit too early. You said the fall off was only like 3 or 4 tenths. It's not anything major. 3 wide.
I don't know what happened to Nick Wood there. Just lost a lot of momentum. He'll fall back a couple of positions, but I don't get... If there's a fuel strategy on hand, I suppose I get taking the fuel in case you can maybe cut a stop out, maybe catch some people off guard with strategy. Maybe that's the play, but the set of tires kind of feels like a waste, even if you're just taking fuel trying to cut a pit stop out. So a little shocked by that, but he clearly wasn't the only one. At least a third of the field came down to pit for at least fuel and also tires for some. So we'll see. If this goes green to the end, it could end up playing a big factor, but personally, I'm not quite sure if it'll play out that way. We'll just have to wait and see. He is up to 12th. He's had a pretty good climb since the first restart of the race, where he restarted 23rd, so already up 11 positions. It's working well, even though that the wear of the tire was not that strong. He's making it work with the slightly fresher tire right now.
Horonis continues to lead now. He took the spot back from Bailey Turner and holds on to that top position. Angelo Horonis showing his strength as we see side by side with the 71 of Carwile, the 05 of James Lehman off of turn 2 for the 5th spot. And that was a little bobble in the background there. I think that was the 16 of Butler.
I think I saw a bobble from Elliott Butler. I also saw Villalobos have a slide in 14th with Chad Klinger right on his bumper. Got really, really tight, but no spin happened, at least quite yet, as You're already seeing a lot of this track being used up. Drivers running high, drivers running low. Almost all 4 wide in the way background with Weekly Cost and Rob Ham.
We're going to see it again.
Seeing some drivers really run up the racetrack.
Capiak down there on the 06 as well. The Capiak and the Juicy Spider 06. We saw it last week there with Donald Kite getting that victory, but Juicy Spider working well together. That's really what it takes to get around those places. They, as teammates, collectively, even if they weren't on the lead lap, you saw the number 6 machine. There's Josh Adams running in 12th right now. Even a lap down, he was helping his teammates all along the way.
They got caught up in the incident with Joseph McWhorter on pit road. As, by the way, because obviously the 73 isn't here, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, he might have been suspended for this race because of that pit road incident. So that's part of the reason why the 73 isn't here tonight. But yeah, Josh Adams a big loser in that. But yes, still able to really help his teammate in Donald Kite, maybe save some extra fuel and just be able to be there at the end of the race. Kept Donald Kite in the right position to be able to make a move in case something happened. And Kite took advantage of the contact between Carwell and Cabot last week, able to get his first career victory in this series. Very emotional win for him as well. Just good to see for this series someone that emotional about Saturday Night Racing League. It was good to see. And great run there. Having a pretty decent run again tonight. I know that 6 is going to be fast once again, up to 13th, like you were mentioning. Got to get through J.R. Shepard at some point, though, who's, like we've been saying, very consistent. Not competing for wins, not quite yet, but he's been very consistently running at the front and getting those finishes that are oh so important.
Yeah, Klinger is going to look to the inside of Dakota Floyd. This is 3 wide coming out of turn 4. 16 on the outside. And we're watching Dakota Floyd start to pick up the pace here. A little bit conservative in the start of the run. Now we're going to go 3 wide into 1 and 2. Anchor number 16 kind of blocking the run there for the 57. He's going to follow Klinger, who gets loose. Klinger was on the move there for a moment, but he's down 9 from where he started this race. He was up in the top row to start this one out.
Yeah, really late wiggle. He wiggled very late out of the corner there, and that's kind of surprising. That's a pretty full throttle part of the track. And he is one of those drivers that came down to pit. I don't know if he took tires or not. I believe he must have, but yeah, already kind of wiggling hard. Those tires not really helping with how loose these drivers look or how on edge they look out of turn number 2 as 33 Stravato loses a spot to Jeff Wright. That 48 questioning that pit call. It's working right now. He's gotten all the way, almost all the way back to where he pit from. He pit from 2nd. He's going to get it right back here, and that's only in like 15 laps or so. It took him to go from 23rd back up to the runner-up position.
I mean, he had the speed. I don't know why he did that. Maybe just to have the edge.
Show off.
Yeah, I think right now it's just one of those things where he wants to lead laps. He's had a really abysmal, like comparatively, it's hard to talk about how bad the season's been because for the average Joe and the guy that's just out here competing for top 10s, he's had a stellar season. But the standard that Jeff Wright set in season 1 compared to where he is now here in season 4, this is out of the ordinary. Even in the other cars, he was a contender, and he has not had that season to date right now.
And let's cut him a little bit of slack. He had a win at Auto Club. He was 300 feet away from it at Auto Club. A yellow comes out, strategy happens, he doesn't get the victory. He's had some speed, but I will be for sure, considering what he had in the Gen 4 car and even in the Xfinity Series car, not the standard that he would set for himself even so far, only being about 10th place in points. But this tire strategy, if there was a yellow that happened much earlier on, he'd be in trouble. But right now, if this goes green, as long as it's gone right now, he's already in a pretty good spot right now, just down a set of tires to majority of the field. But if this goes green even until like lap 100, he's in a pretty darn good spot. Already to go back to the race lead, his first lead of the night, I should say, and already half a second up on Angelo Horonis. Elliott Butler trying the way high line. That hasn't worked since they repaved this track, as we saw a few hours ago, but he's trying it for sure. As looking at this battle for 7th, Michael Sturgill, Reggie Ortega, bumper to bumper. Shepard and Lehman are still battling side by side.
mentioned it earlier, we do have an RSR Driver Cam with this driver. It's Michael Sturgill working his way up to the 7th position. He's gained 11 spots to be up here in the top 10.
Oh, sorry. Looking near the rear of the field, Donald Kite just got a boot from someone in the turn number 3. I think he and Broderick Vaglavic had some contact, but they kept it all straight. Sturgill gets by Ortega for that 7th position as these two kind of keep it together. Now we're back 3 wide. Vaglavic, one of his few starts of the season, had been struggling to qualify for these races. Only got 40 entrants this season, so he is in the field in some 3 wide action as the 26 is running 26th so far.
We go back here to look at the boot that he got into 3.
Baffert takes him 3 wide.
That was a lot of contact. It wasn't so much a boot to the back bumper, it was more of a quarter panel rub. And moved him up the racetrack.
I think he got kind of scared or spooked by Baffert taking it 3 wide to the bottom. Probably gave the 42 too much room compared to what he needed, and Donald Kite almost got sent for it, but thankfully it worked out. Kite keeps the position that he had on track. As the 51 Hodges in a battle right here with the 93 of Rob Denton. This is for 28th position.
So the RSR driver camera is presented by this driver who gets a little bit loose there out of 3 and 4. He now has the 84 machine of Clark Konecki. He brought out the first caution there, getting loose, and a lot of contact there down the backstretch. Side by side here for the 31st position. We've talked to Denton. He had a stellar performance there in the Challenger Series at Sonoma. But it seems like here in this next-gen car, he has not had a good time either.
Definitely seems to have been a struggle for the 93. He's had a few DNFs here and there, had a few crashes here and there, just kind of struggling to get control of this car. I think Elliott Butler almost hit the wall way up at the front of the field, but the 93 definitely has been a struggle, and that's no surprise. When you look at the points, you can kind of see the struggle that it has been for that 93 of Rob Denton. I mean, he is a little buried in the points compared to where he would want to be. He's 52nd in points, and he started all but 1 race, so it's no surprise it's been a struggle for him for sure. Just needs to get a few clean races under his belt. Just get laps in this car. If you're not used to this car, your goal is not to run top 10, top 15. You just need to run laps, get experience in the car, and the results will come as long as you just complete the races. The more experience you get as well. Jeff Wright's drifting off of turn number 4. Just the more experience you get in this car, the better you'll get. That's what he needs to do right now.
Looking like a Gen 4 coming off the corner there with the right rear stepping out.
That was a lot. That was a lot more than you want in the next-gen car, that's for sure. It was kind of apparent on the timing sheet, even with the fresher tires, he was only half a tenth faster than Bailey Turner, who did take that 2nd position from Angelo Horonis a few laps ago. But 48 does any more of that than 24, even without fresher tires, will be there. He's doing it again as well, but Floyd is not really sliding the right rear that much, just getting by James Layton around the outside of the racetrack.
And the 3 of Sturgill back at it with Reggie Ortega. This is for 7th position. They went back and forth a moment ago. We talked about them maybe 7-8 laps ago, where the side-by-side continues. And the 57 of Dakota Floyd starting to work his way into this picture. But you're talking about Jeff Wright getting sideways off of 3 and 4. Let's see if he does it again here.
Yeah, a little bit. Not as egregious maybe, but it almost definitely looks like to me that he really drove his tires hard, just trying to get the clean air, get the track position before a potential yellow. Now he's got that track position, but it's almost like he drove the tires too hard to where it's almost like he doesn't even have that much of an advantage over the drivers behind him. But that being said, he does already have a 1-second lead back to Bailey Turner, who did not pit on the last yellow, but it definitely looks like he's pushing his stuff. This goes green. I would not be surprised to see that 24 close back in on the 48 maybe. Kind of see the rear hanging out a little bit. That was a much better corner though.
Chad Klinger concedes a position here to AJ Stravado. He's one of those drivers that came down pit road with Jeff Wright. Works his way into the top 5. He's on the same strategy. Thought he was going to get around the 33. But like you said, Connor, it looks like these tires have evened out. And that's probably because we were only 14 or so laps into the run. before they came down pit road, the fall off wasn't really there. So now the even out, it happens a lot sooner here with this racetrack.
Especially when the track's not that much rubbered in. I mean, there's not much rubber around this racetrack. You can kind of see it faintly in the turns 1 and 2, but there's really not much there. Plus, to go along with that, I mean, the track temp is through the roof. We didn't really talk about that enough. This might be the hottest track temp we've seen in the series all season. And at 3 and 4, very tough, even when in cool conditions. Now you got all the temp in the world on the racetrack. That just makes it even tougher. You got to deal with dirty air. That makes it even harder. The tempers get hotter along with that as well, especially when I think in this case, Klinger's a touch faster than Stravato, but not really surprising to see this be a tough pass. They do have a little bit of a history. One of the last mile and a half we went to in Texas, we had contact. We had contact at Nashville Fairgrounds. Not Nashville Fairgrounds, Kern, excuse me. These two are very, very familiar with each other. I'll keep it at that. Contact at least 2 of the 7 tracks we've been to already. I don't think either of them want to make it 8, though. We've already seen a suspension because of it. I think this time Chad Klinger has to move done for that 4th position.
Chad moved on to Bailey Turner last week, or the week before.
Canadian Tire, yes.
The Canadian Tire. I think this relationship has been repaired and mended.
Spin on the front stretch. It's James Lehman in the 0-5. Don't see much damage, but the caution's out.
So James Lehman goes around, coming out of turn 4. It doesn't look like any damage on this 0-5.
Yeah, looks clean.
What happened here, though?
He's running around 11. We saw him battling with Shepard. Almost 4 wide here.
He got loose.
Yes. Yeah, just lost it. Yeah, nothing else to unpack there. Just, we've seen a lot of drivers, not only Jeff Wright, but a lot of drivers trying to drive off that right rear fender, or the right rear tire, I should say. It's hard to do in an X-Gen. I mean, you get these things sideways, you're going to snap or spin it one way or the other, and just kind of lost it there. Been kind of fighting with Shepard, was trying to get by Ortega at this point, just maybe pushing the rear tires a little harder than they could go, and just kind of lost it. But he did do a good job not getting more damage out of it. I mean, it could have been worse.
I'm surprised that it didn't end up with more than it actually got. Visually, the car looks fine.
We'll definitely see pit stops here.
Oh, for sure.
This is kind of not... And it's not good for those people who pit the last yellow, because now they're just down a set of tires, and we'll have over 90 laps left. Some of these drivers only have 2 sets of tires, and they got to put that in the back of their minds for the rest of the race.
Jeff Wright leads him in. He had the tire advantage. He probably didn't want to see a caution here as he started back in the 7th position. He will have the advantage here, being the first one to his stall. 42 of Ben Baffert has kind of went quiet here. He was the pole sitter, and we haven't mentioned his name for a while.
I couldn't quite see where Baffert got back up to. It was not back up to the front for sure. I believe he was running more in the 23rd position, so he was just not getting back through the field to where he was, like the 48 and 09 were able to. He'll come out of the pits and around the 17th position, still have a lot of work to do.
Seth Hatchell a lap down here tonight. I think connection issues have been the biggest factor for the number 8 machine. We'll have to wait and see exactly how this all pans out for him.
I believe he got the free pass. He'll be back to 1 lap down. He pit during the last green flag run. So he's back to 1 lap down, and currently no one else to compete with for the Lucky Dog. The only other driver laps down is Austin Belke, and he is 21 laps down after being involved in the first caution.
So Belke gonna be that wave around position in the number 89. I apologize, trying to click around here, but Jeff Wright is gonna maintain the lead, and Chad Klinger just behind him as we double back up for this restart. This will be the 3rd time today that we've went back green.
And this will be a pretty big indicator of what Jeff Wright's pace is on, and Chad Klinger as well. Now back on even tires. Yes, they have the track position, but now the drivers behind them who were kind of leading before that are back on even playing ground, even tires, along with Adams and Carwile, who were not that far up the field when the yellow fell. Got some good track position under the yellow, so we'll see what those two are able to do at this point.
Well, I'll venture to say that Angela Horonis and Bailey Turner are going to show this front row something within the next 10 laps or so. Horonis wasted no time getting around the 24, and the 24 got back at him for a lap. I think now on even tires, we're going to see the 29 shine again. Call me a liar here in a second. I don't know. Let's find out here. Saturday Night Racing League restart number 3 of the day. Jeff Wright trying to finally find his way to victory lane here in season number 4. Chad Klinger to the outside. Not a good restart for the 09 as we go into turn 1.
Yeah, he really did not get going there at all. That's going to give the advantage to Horonis to get back that second position. Turner's going to be able to maybe follow him through. Just did not get the tires up to speed at all. It's a lot tougher for the driver on the outside lane, especially at a track like this with a trioval.
Diving to the inside, that is the 6 of Josh Adams to the inside now for the 5th position on Ryan Carwile. And how many times has Ryan Carwile been in the top 5? Even pulled some crazy strategy in some of these races. I think he's got a top 3 just around the corner for how he's been running this season.
He's had some good runs, but only 1 top 5, 2 top 10s to show for it. But running in the top 5 right now, trying to keep that position. Horonis almost knocked the wall down in turn 4. He got way up the racetrack, let the 24 of Turner get by him. Now he's going for the race lead, but just not quite there to challenge the 48 quite yet. As you can see, little 3 wide. Josh Adams got way sideways off of turn number 4. Reggie Ortega is going to try to take advantage.
Looking back here at the 09 of Chad Klinger, this is off the back of Angela Horonis. He had a good run out of 3 and 4. They're hanging with Jeff Wright, who's leading this race right now. But I think on borrowed time, the 24 and the 29 have shown that they have the speed on this short run. And the 24 of Bailey Turner, 4-time winner this season, looking to make it number 5. I think Horonis is going to be his biggest. Oh, we have car sideways out at 4.
Looked like J.R. Shepard got a boot from Bryce Shoemaker there, and they kept it straight, but kind of weird to have contact in the trial. Well, they're making more contact. Hamp in the Shepard in the Villalobos. The midfield kind of packed up right now as Wright still leads, but they're beating the Mangan back there.
Papiak down on the bottom of Hamp. Looking off the back of Julio Villalobos Jr.
Going for the lead at the same time. He's on the inside of Jeff Wright up at the front of the field. Tough pass to make. You really haven't seen a pass for the lead besides the one with the tire advantage for the 48. Tough pass to make on the bottom. Bailey Turner. Oh, look out. Contact.
Wow. Heavy contact in 3 and 4.
That's what I'm talking about. For some reason, the grip on the bottom of the racetrack at Kentucky on iRacing, it's just not there. You load it into a corner thinking you're going to have a grip. You just don't. It's way too flat down there. That's going to cost him second to Horonis again. That pass is oh so difficult to do without contact.
So Horonis there to take advantage of it immediately. Let's see if the 29 has anything for Jeff Wright. And I think part of it here too with this next generation stock car, the downshift really kind of dictates the entry to your corner and if you're going to have grip on the backside after the apex.
I'm not even sure how many people are shifting up, maybe back up in down the back straightaway. We probably do hear people shifting in the middle of 3 and 4 because it's just such a bogged down corner. You need that exit with the shift just to get through the corner. But you're definitely not doing any shifting in 1 and 2, so it kind of makes it a little bit difficult to get that downshift done at the right spot entering turn number 3. Some people will do it on entry just to get the engine braking to work, but some people will do it kind of on the exit of the corner just to make sure they have the best run possible out of the corner. All sorts of different strategies with that shifter being used, part of that kind of sequential gearing that we have in these next-gen cars now.
Wow.
It's almost not even new at this point, which is weird to say.
I just saw the 29 go out really, really wide there. I thought he was going to get a run on Jeff Wright, but it ended up having to lift out of the throttle, and Bailey Turner almost got to the inside.
I don't think he was expecting Jeff Wright to check up for 3 as hard as he did. He almost ran into a 48, lost a lot of time in turn number 3 alone, just trying to get close to the 48, but gained it all back in 1 and 2. Trying to run at least a groove higher, just trying to get clean air on the nose at all. Meanwhile, at the back, you don't have any clean airs. None of these guys do. Matt Shadowski, Brendan Wallace, Logan Threlkeld back there in 33rd. They're trying to find clean air, but there's none of it. I can assure you that. Just trying to find clean track, really, just trying to make passes. That might be part of Ben Baffert's problem, not being able to get back through the field, even on the pressure tires. He's just lost so much ground that it's been a struggle for Baffert to get back through the field. This might be the 16th, might be the highest he's been since he hit. As whoa, Threlkeld almost fired it into the rear bumper of Matt Shadowski, but avoided him well there, and Max Hossin will try to take advantage.
Indiana Jones, I believe is the term you were looking for.
Yes, close enough. Once again, I don't know what movie we're on as far as Indiana Jones goes. Meanwhile, for the lead, it's side by side. Heronis is the next one trying to challenge Jeff Wright, and he almost did the same thing Turner did. He didn't hit him, but he came darn close that time. It's just impossible to hold the bottom of the racetrack under the leader, it seems.
Yeah, 3 and 4, Jeff Wright's got that figured out. He defended really, really well. Mad Dog Gamer, God, this car is so hard to watch. You can be so much faster than the guy in front and can't do anything with it. Angelo Heronis agrees with you, so does Bailey Turner.
Hey, it wasn't our decision, we was broadcasting it, but it does make it a much tougher challenge to make that pass work where you can get to the rear bumper of a driver on iRacing and loosen them up. In real life, that's not the case in this car, but you can do that in iRacing, and so far, we haven't seen anyone try to do that to the 48. They're just trying to pass them on the inside. They get the run into 1 and 2, get to the inside, but then just wash into the left side of the 48. So far, it just has not been easy at all to get that pass done for the lead. Still seeing battling this far into the run. Really, the top 5 or 6 are kind of clear, single file battling amongst each other. We got another battle for 7th with, I believe, Reggie Ortega trying to fend off Ben.
Contact. A lot of contact. Another. Oh man, Baffert bounced off 3 cars there.
That was tight, I think.
And 4.
Not quite done yet either. He's bouncing off of so many drivers. That just stacked up everyone 15th on back. I mean, they're still hitting live. Bryce Shoemaker, Donnie Kite just had some contact, but they're still not done. But that was tight in 3 and 4. Goes to the middle. Kind of comes down on Shoemaker there, then kind of drags him up to the 21. Then Shoemaker comes back up into him, maybe saying, hey, I didn't like that. J.R. Shepard sees the middle open. Baffert's like, no, you can't go there. A little more contact there. Somehow they kept it straight, but they're not done yet. They're still even live, kind of battling amongst each other as you see more contact there on the replay. Shoemaker got really tight in the middle of 1 and 2. Gave a lot of right front damage.
Bill Alamos, I think a 54 right now after that contact. He might be struggling on the handling. He's down 1 now, but he's actually down about 7 or 8 positions for where we saw him running earlier.
He was definitely running maybe a touch better. Now that right front damage is really going to hurt him. And these cars, especially any sort of aero damage with how momentum-based these cars are, is going to hurt you. And he has some pretty decent right front damage, and he's really struggling in 1 and 2, the fastest corner of the track. Just kind of falling back very fast here for the Labos, Lakatos all behind him. Even more, you got Hodges, Wood, Ham, Kanekin just trying to have a shot at that 54.
Back up front here with AJ Stravado. He was working on the back bumper of Brian Carlisle out of 4. the driver at Canadian Tire that was able to save enough fuel to get a victory and lock himself in. He's going to get some contact here to the 71.
I think that was intentional, but he definitely booted the Virginia Tech Ford Mustang there a little bit. He almost like he looked to the inside, but just wasn't expecting Carl to check up that much. And even then, he's still got a run on 71 out of turn number 4. Now this time he gets to be outside. That's where you kind of need to be, it seems, to make these passes work. So much so where Chad Klinger sees an opportunity to inch Carl to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try to follow his rival Stravato through on the outside, and it puts Carl at a pretty big disadvantage having two drivers ganged up on the outside of him.
And in this mix as well, you saw the 43. I accidentally looked back at the 42 car, but it's the 43 of Alec Martinez who's been quiet for most of this night. Up 8 positions, a little contact there.
Carwell hit the apron there. It's almost like kind of looking like Kansas right now. Everyone's fighting for the outside into the corner so much they're hitting the outside wall on the entry to the corner, but you can see the advantage of getting to the outside of someone in 1 and 2. This is sending Carwell multiple positions backwards. Martinez got by him. Reggie Ortega is going to get by him. Josh Adams is going to try to gang up on him as well. But at the same time, that 43 is driving through the field ever so slightly.
0.6 of a second here for Jeff Wright, and we talked about the short run speed and what this car does with the bubble, and of course Mad Dog Gamer in there just voicing the opinion of another driver that might be frustrated, or somebody that has raced this car that might be frustrated. Bailey Turner and Angela Horonis went back and forth for some laps led here today. Horonis has really impressed me with 22 laps led, as you now see the 24 car try to get by. That's your 4-time winner, Bailey Turner, going up to the 2nd position. He's only led 3 laps. So for the brief amount of time that he's had the lead, he showed speed, but it's been dirty air, I think, for a lot of these guys tonight. They just haven't been able to hold on to that top spot.
With the way this racetrack is shaped, it's looking worse than ever. And we just had, like we said, we have not seen a proper pass for the lead without tires being different of any sort. And to me, it definitely looked like Coronis is pushing a little harder short run. He definitely has some good speed, but maybe pushing a little too hard short run, giving it up long run. Bailey Turner faster at this point. I think Stravato, Klinger, they might be faster than the 29 at this point as well. You could see the 24 already kind of pulling away. Coronis sideways off the 2. It's going to give the advantage to Stravato to get to the outside of him into turn number 3, but just really, really tough unless you get that outside line given to you. These passes are just looking very, very difficult right now for every driver in the field. You can see how spread out it's gotten. Kind of, you can see it from the 15th to 19th positions. Those drivers are pretty darn spread out.
Verona starting to struggle a little bit. He's going to lose 2 spots here in one corner as the 33 of Stravato, the 09 and Chad Klinger moves his way into 4th position. Here comes the 43 of Martinez to the bottom. And I think a lot of it, too, for the 29 is he had clean air when he was up there in the lead. He was able to run his own line. Now he's kind of getting pinned in situations he doesn't want to be in. He's getting a little bump draft here as you see Josh Adams move to the inside. This is for the 5th position. That's a pinch there from the 43. Can he drive off?
Ooh,
almost
tight.
contact again.
Really tight action there. They made a little bit of contact. I thought they were going to, at least. I think Clark Konecki and Matt Shoemaker almost made contact for about 24th as well. But just a big struggle for these drivers right now. It's almost like you don't really see this at Kentucky a lot, but it almost looks like a lot of drivers are having to race the racetrack instead of other drivers. It just looks very treacherous out of the corners. The aero wash is pretty tough. It's so many drivers just struggling with getting the car off the corners right now.
Back here in 26th position with Caleb Weekly riding on board right now. Weekly, another one of those drivers with the camera. RSR Driver Cam. We always have a good variety of drivers. New wheel here for Caleb Weekly. Still probably getting the feel for things. I mean, Connor, I don't know about you, but we go to a car that everyone's not familiar with, and then you get a whole new wheel, and you go to a racetrack that is probably not equipped for this car. This is like the worst combination imaginable as far as mile and a half go.
I think if you wanted to learn a new wheel, you'd rather go to like a Kansas or a Las Vegas or even a Charlotte. I mean, it's a free racetrack at least, but this is definitely a little bit tougher to gauge where you are with your new wheel or with your new equipment.
He's loose.
It's tough. Oh, Rob Hamp into the wall, and behind him, I just saw on the screen, Hamp hit the wall pretty hard there on the right front, but we're going to keep it straight, keep it green. But yeah, definitely when you switch equipment, it makes it a lot difficult when you go to a track you're not accustomed to right now. Oh, he's still sliding live, but oh man, he saved it, but right there, big hit.
We'll continue on here through the exit of turn 2 where he got sideways again. Handling is starting to go away, and that again goes back to how this car handles. Unpredictable.
He just slid on the pit road live. He's actually probably going to get a speeding penalty live, which he did, but he didn't take out any other drivers, but now back off track. Just when you slide them once, we see this at any track with the next gen, you slide the rears once, you're not going to get them back. And you'll see final slide that took him to pit road right here.
A heck of a save, though.
Good save, just couldn't get it slowed down in time before pit road, so his race is likely going to be done at this point. Matter of fact, I think he did immediately take it behind the wall. So it's really our first retirement of the race, besides Tyler Dohar, who did not start this race anyways, who was supposed to be our 41st starter. Puts the 4 on the hook for the first time tonight for anyone. Meanwhile, old friends catching up in a battle for third, Klinger and Stravato. Oh, Klinger sideways. By the way, I didn't mean to mention it off the hook, but we are past halfway. It's almost time to get a little bit loud, don't you think?
Man, this thing really ticked away, didn't it? We had a little bit of a rough start to this thing. I thought maybe, just maybe, this would be another one of those, but looking more like Season 3, Season 2 here at Saturday Night Racing League, and what we have done over the past 3 seasons prior to this. As we ask you to find those volume knobs, that remote control. Connor, what do you say? We get loud here, presented by FireStorm Racing.
And we get very loud tonight.
That was Get Loud, presented by FireStorm Racing. Jeff Wright, still your leader. As we bring that back up on your screen.
Sorry, James Lamers had a big moment at turn number 2. I thought he was about to crash. Got loose off the, almost got contact from Baffert, but he got loose on his own. We saw him already spin once today. Almost had a second. Pushing that right rear a little too much. You'll see it right here. Maybe gets a little aero loose from the 42. Ooh. Whoa. That is not fun. You get some fun slides sometimes. That is not a fun slide.
No, it's not. Not when you have someone right on your back bumper on the exit.
What I was talking about earlier, even though in the real life, these next gens, you can't get someone aero loose like that, you most certainly can on iRacing. You get close to someone's rear bumper, they will get aero loose. Maybe a moment where Baffert, not meaning to obviously, it's just racing, but got a little close to the 050 bumper, got a little bit aero loose, and just, that's all it really takes. Especially how worn the tires are. Fall off, maybe not as severe as some other tracks, but ever since we hit pit lane, Jeff Wright's fastest time this run was a 31.3. He is about, I'd say 1.6 seconds off that, so the fall-off is there, but he's doing a good job managing his tires right now because Bailey Turner not close to him at all. This is the Jeff Wright we're used to seeing.
This is more familiar here for Saturday Night Racing League, but what is also familiar is the great people that support this league, and Saturday Night Racing has a collective of different people. M&J Distributors, of course, putting on this show. We're going to take you side by side here under green. You are watching Saturday Night Racing League live here on VSPEED, and more coverage will continue from Kentucky right after this.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Well, we're back here live where the caution has come out. We were side by side there to get a word from our sponsors, and it looks like the 54 and the 26 had some issues here just a moment ago.
I saw it off of turn number 4. I didn't know if the 54 is sideways or tried to block, but him and Donnie Kite, Talladega winner from last week, definitely came together. It's definitely likely ends any concerns of green flag pit stops from the front runners, but as everyone will come to pit this time by, we'll definitely see a good view of what happened at a turn number 4. Kite on the top, Shoemaker on the bottom, 54 loose there, and yeah, it looked like Shoemaker kind of tried to block. It was way too late.
I don't know if he's so much blocked, he was still trying to save it there. If we back this up one more time, in his defense, I will back this up one more time. I think he chased it up the racetrack and just continued to get loose after the fact.
Yeah, loose there. Thought he collected it. I don't know. I thought he collected it and tried maybe coming down the track. To me, it looked like he had it gathered, tried to cut across the 26. I think maybe Donnie will take claim of that. I don't know. To me, it looks like he collects it and kind of comes across Kite and spins out there. So that'll be reviewed for sure. It's not our opinion that matters. It's the admin's opinion that matters. But definitely an odd situation that happened there. That was the battle for about, I would like to say, 26th place or so. And that brings out what, our 3rd yellow of the night. Takes green flag pit stops out of the equation and keeps Jeff Wright in the lead. It hurts Logan Threlkeld. Threlkeld was the first one to pit under green. Now he has to take the wave around.
But on the bright side, this also adds Seth Hatchell back to the lead lap, and he'd been waiting quite some time to get back on this lead lap. He's been at the tail end of this field. I think he voluntarily took an EOL to start this race out. Feeling a little bit rusty here. Good to have him back out on the racetrack. He's actually shown a lot of pace towards the tail end of this run, and I'm interested to see if the number 8 can work his way into the top 10 to finish this race out.
Have to wait and see. He's got not much time to work with to get back to the front, but yeah, he pit under the green flag very early in the race, went 2 down, and now he's gotten 2 lucky dogs to get back on the lead lap. So if he has any pace, he'll be able to show it right now. Just trying to look where he was running on track, not position-wise, but on track. He was running right behind 22nd place Eddie Trejo before the yellow came out, so that was roughly where his pace was. Maybe he'll be able to get back up maybe into the top 20 by the end of the race, but like we said, he's only going to have about 45 laps to do so as we have the 1 to green. We'll be getting ready to go today on this restart, and this will be a pretty important restart for drivers on the front few rows. Jeff Wright hasn't been challenged really at all since he took the lead. It seems like he's got the long run dialed. You're going to have to get him on the short run today.
Well, he's very good at defending in 3 and 4, and that's where a lot of drivers find the run out of turn 2. They get to the inside on the backstretch, but you can't do anything with it. You can't keep that car pinned on the bottom of 3 and 4, and that's where Jeff Wright has been optimal, is keeping those cars at bay. So we'll have to wait and see if somebody gets brave. We saw contact with the 24 just a moment ago. We also saw Angelo Horonis get loose, trying to pass Jeff Wright. Horonis kind of out of the picture here for this restart. He's back in 14th, but Bailey Turner is going to be right there in the 33. Stravato has also been fast. Let's go. Back green and sideways for Stravato.
Saved it.
What happened?
Keep green. I don't think he had contact. I think he just spun the tires. I did not see Chad Klinger hit him that time. I think he just spun the tires. I don't think the 09 hit him, but that really scrambled the restart.
One more time from the blimp camera.
There. We get the green there. I don't think he hit him. I don't think he hit him.
Let's look
Either
off
way,
the back one more time. Let's look off the back one more time.
It really hurt the right front of Stravato. Go now-ish. I don't think there was contact there. I really don't.
I
think he spins the tires.
I think there was.
I don't think there was. There was a tiny bit of gap between the two. I really think Stravato just spun him a little bit too much. It's put this pack into chaos. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but it just didn't seem. There seemed to be some space between the two right there.
I don't know. It's just really early to tell, and I think that the gap definitely closed between those two cars at that restart, whether that could or not.
If those two come together later in the race, we'll see what AJ thinks. But I definitely think
his
there'll be
mirror
some.
got full. You know that.
knows that for sure. But we'll definitely try, maybe I'll try to look at it after the race. I really thought he just spun those tires. It's very easy to do with this track. Really jumbled up the running order. Turner stayed second. That put Kenny Kibbe up to third. He started 35th tonight. He's climbed all the way up to the third position as they battle for fourth. Dakota Floyd and Alec Martinez for that spot right behind them. Martinez is going to get it.
Martinez gets by the 57. The 6 of Josh Adams gets by Reggie Ortega. And here comes the 3 of Sturgill. We saw this earlier in the race. This is kind of deja vu for the 2 and the 3.
It's almost like it's Ortega and Alex Bell all over again at Richmond. I mean, they've been battling literally all night, seemingly side by side, bumper to bumper, just can't separate from one another. It's been in the top 10 this entire time, but now they got Josh Adams to deal with, who's kind of passed both of them since the start of this race. It's kind of been in front of them for a lot already. They're all 3 of them trying to get past Dakota Floyd, who got passed by Martinez not too long ago.
We're looking back here at your pole sitter. Ben Bafford with contact to J.R. Shepard.
Immediately apologize for that. I think Bafford, same thing. It was the same thing. Turn 3, it's just not ready for it to be that tight on entry, and he just slammed the side of the 98 because it just does not turn into that corner. Back to 2 wide. Klinger on the bumper. He's had a pretty poor restart because of the 33's issues. He restarted, 4th position or 6th position. He's back outside the top 10. Oh, car slammed the wall in the background. Someone bouncing off it. It's Max Cost in the 63. We stay green, but he hit it hard. He hit it pretty hard.
This is off of turn 2. He gets loose and right across the nose. I don't know who was behind him there.
No one hit him. I think it was Hodges who barely avoided him, but that could have taken out so many other cars. He hit it that right side really hard off the wall.
Hit it one more time here on the VSPEED insert replay.
Turn 3 live. James Lehman spinning into turn number 3. He's off the inside wall. Christopher Hodges just slammed him in turn number 3. Everyone else is going to be able to avoid him. Chad Klinger was involved slightly as well, but that was a huge, huge hit between those 2. Holy cow. Chad Klinger reset. I didn't see damage, but he reset.
Making my job difficult here, Connor.
Hey, man. Hey, man. They're the ones wrecking. Big hit.
Yeah, James Lehman. Wow.
I don't know how everyone avoided them, but Lehman and, man, they huge hits. Lehman and Hodges. Same story for Lehman again. Running decent, just won't get the finish.
Side by side. Into turn 3.
Ooh. There's contact there for sure. He hits the inside. Oh, he hits the tires. And it just shoots him right back up the track in front of Hodges.
And nobody knows that's coming.
It's an ugly angle. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that tire bundle hit in turn 3. I'll be honest, I didn't even know those were there. You see it happen there. He probably thinks he has room to get to the outside, but right there, it just shoots him back into traffic. There's absolutely nothing Christopher Hodges could do. Absolutely the worst luck possible. Wow, Rob Dent did a good job getting through there, but you cannot have a more unlucky crash, I don't think. I mean, there's nothing he could do here at all. Just shoots him back up the track. Man, really hard hits.
Now we need to go on board with the 93.
Roderick Baglavic gets the lucky dog out of that. I don't know if Klinger misjudged it or what, but he reset right after, even though he didn't have no damage. Maybe just felt bad. Ooh, contact there. Look out. Oh, man. I can't believe he didn't get involved in that.
That's crazy, and we'll look at it one more time here with the 05. This is the shot off the wall. Yeah, it just rebounds him 120 miles per hour back onto the racing surface.
I don't think I've seen a bounce like that in a while. Eddie Trejo barely gets through it. He got fortunate. This will be one of the best views we have of him and Klinger side by side. Survives there. Just they kind of get hooked together, and it's just the worst angle where he's you could see this tire bundle jutting out. Rear end hits it, shoots him right back into traffic. Klinger barely re-avoids him. Hodges gets the worst luck possible. If that tire bundle's not there, I don't think that happens. He might hit someone else, but certainly I think Christopher Hodges gets through. Just absolutely across traffic at the wrong time. Nothing Lehman could do at that point either. He's just along for the ride. That's a new one. I've never seen that. Took out two pretty fast cars as well. Lehman, once again, running pretty well. Hodges, maybe not the day he was wanting to have. He was running in the 20th position, though. A decent run. And either of them are going to get the run they want for it. Chad Klinger, no damage, but he's also going to maybe bring it behind the wall for now as well.
Well, the replay button hasn't worked as hard as it has. You know, we'll take examples from Kern County.
Kern, yes.
This has definitely been a better race overall. But we're looking at, you know, more of the same that we saw in seasons 2, seasons 1 from Jeff Wright. This is going back to what could have been in the previous race there, leading the most laps, having the opportunity. We still have 36 laps to go crossing this stripe. Jeff Wright doesn't have it in the bag yet, and Bailey Turner could get his 5th win of the season. You also have Kenny Kibbe, who started way back in this field. Green flag is out, and a little bit of wheel spin here. Here comes the 43 of Martinez to the outside.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Jeff Wright went early or Turner tried jumping it, but the restart's completely jumbled. Had cars hitting each other at the back. This is giving Bailey Turner the perfect opportunity to get the lead away. I don't know what that was.
Contact.
Oh, man. He fired it into 3 trying to get it back. This is a tough pass to make.
He's going to hold it.
Trying to squeeze him there. Keeps it straight. Martinez just trying to look which lane's going to move.
I don't think either one's going to move. They're going to pin this all the way into turns 1 and 2, and it's close.
He's got to run. Martinez got to run on both of them, but does he have anywhere to go with it? Oh, this is a big move by the 48. He dove in there.
Contact again.
Oh, Martinez sideways. He got booted by Dakota Floyd.
What a move there by Jeff Wright, though. I think this is going to work.
I don't think so. I think they're going to wreck, if anything. I think he knows if he doesn't get clear of Bailey Turner, this could be the race. So he is sending it into these corners, not letting the 24 get away as they're side-by-side, door-to-door again. He's going to do the same thing again. If they don't make contact here, I'll be amazed. But he just keeps firing it hard into turn number 3, trying to... Yep, there it is again. More contact. Even more contact. They're leaning on each other.
Glued.
Look out. This is going to be tight. Oh, he's sideways. What a save. I can't believe he held onto that car. It's
oh, my goodness.
Where does Martinez just... It's tough because he has all the dirty air Martinez does. He has nowhere to go. Michael Sturgill's up here. Where did he come from? Contact is more of it. This is incredible stuff. I just don't think it's going to end well. Look at Sturgill on the bottom. 3 wide for the lead. They might be 3 wide for the lead. Oh, contact.
Turner.
Martinez in the wall. He kept it straight. That gave Jeff Wright the lead back. That's exactly what the 48 needed. Oh, my gosh. And that all stemmed from that weird restart. Jeff Wright got going, and then he stopped. I don't know if he thought he jumped it or what, but he stopped, checked up the field, and it almost cost him the lead. What a restart for Michael Sturgill as well. It got him all the way to 2nd.
Well, we've been looking to make SNR or VSPEED top 10. That's going to go down there, for sure.
I mean, if they tried 4 wide down the front, I would have lost it. But Martinez just got squeezed a little bit too much, and that cost Bailey Turner crucial momentum to be able to stay on the outside of Jeff Wright. I don't know if the 3 has the pace to contend with the 48 short run or long run. Turner's got to try to get that spot back. He's going to. Swoops to the bottom. Apron's bumpy on Kentucky. Got to be careful, but he kept it straight. It was a one. I don't know where Sturgill came from. He restarted 7th. Man, I can't get over that. That was wild, wild stuff on that restart. And it's just back to normal at the front, like nothing ever happened. He got right in turner 1-2. Great restart for Michael Sturgill up to 3rd. Martinez falls back to 4th. Carwile and Dakota Floyd side by side for 5th. Jared Shepard with a wiggle out of 2, but he kept it straight. Kenny Kibbe lost some big track position on that restart as well.
Contact here with the 57-71 and the 2 gets into the back of Carwile.
Really tight stuff there, but still Dakota Floyd didn't get the run out of the corner. Ortega trying to get that, or not Ortega, Carwile trying to get that run. But Dakota Floyd with that side draft on the right rear, just able to pin the 71 down.
How about that? Back on the lead lap into the top 20 now for Seth Hatchell, up to 15th position, gets by the 84 machine of Clark Ganeckin. Seth Hatchell starting to come back. It's like riding a bike. Oh, a little sideways here. I think that was the 6 of Adams.
6 of Adams got sideways. Carwile and Floyd had even more contact, but that 71's getting ganged up on again, and more drivers gang up on the outside of him. Floyd the 5th. Ortega gets 6th. Kenny Kibbe's going to try to get back up to the 7th position through all this. And it's not over yet, but so far so good for the recovery for Seth Hatchell on the racetrack. Still have 25 laps to go, 26 to go this time by, but he's done a good job recovering after being 2 down for majority of this race.
Still has the 50 of Casey Lakatos to the outside. Meanwhile, Josh Adams side by side with J.R. Shepard. This is outside the top 10. Just inside the top 10, it's Julio Villalobos behind Ryan Carwile, Ben Baffert for the 8th spot.
Yeah, Villalobos, he's 23rd in points. He's only had 1 top 10 of this entire season. It was a 5th back at Auto Club after the green-white checkers. Other than that, he has not had a finish better. He's had 14th, 15th, and 18th, his other best 3 finishes. So besides Auto Club, this would definitely be one of the better runs of his season so far. And back in 11th now. He's had to work for it. He started back in the 25th position. So he's had to climb through this field.
He's still got a tall order in front of him as you see them still side by side. A lot of shuffling with the 42 of Ben Baffert. And, you know, you go back to the start of this race, the 42 has shown speed in the short run. He's shown speed in qualifying, but he just hasn't been able to seal that deal.
Yeah, and ever since he fell back after pitting on like lap 9 and just losing a lot of track position, he's been fighting back ever since, and it has not been easy for him. It took him this long to get back into the top 10, and he's fallen back to 10th position after turn number 4. Didn't have a good run there, but he's been fighting this car just in clean and dirty air the entire night, trying to get back positions. And it's been kind of a bumpy road. He's had contact from other drivers a lot tonight, as that battling 4th on back is tight. Dakota Floyd just got by Martinez for 4th.
Top 10, you could throw a blanket over it. From 4th on back to 15th. Everyone in contention for this.
Josh Adams trying to make that bottom work. Just we've seen it all day. Hard to make it work. You can make it work better in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4. You got no grip. It's going to be tough unless you have clean air, which Josh Adams does. He fires to the yellow line. He actually got a pretty good run through 3 and 4, which we haven't really been seeing, but you got all the draft, all the momentum off that top side. Martinez gets a shove from Ortega just to keep him in the fight, just enough. He's got him, though. Great run through 1 and 2 there. All those shenanigans that happened on that restart, right? It just really let the top 3 get away. I don't know if you're going to talk or not, but they let those top 3 really get away from everyone. I mean, they still have Sturgill in 3rd. He's still got over a second back to Dakota Floyd in 4th. It's just let those 3 really just be able to run their race now.
We got 20 to go when we cross the stripe, and Connor, I'm at a loss for words from what we saw. Jeff Wright knew that it was impossible to get a run on the inside of 3 and 4, so he used the 24 as a break. It almost looked like he was playing a NASCAR Thunder game where he just drove it in there as hard as he could and used the car as a break.
I don't want to say that was the intention of Jeff Wright, but
That's
definitely
what it looked like.
It definitely looked like the premise of if you can't beat them, door 'em. He just kept firing it at turn number 3, making contact, crowding the 24, hitting the 24, anything to stunt his momentum off the exit of turn number 4 primarily. It just ended up working to the point where I think when Turner had the best run on him out of 4 possible, you had Martinez backed up. They backed up the Martinez and Sturgill to the point where you saw Martinez try to go forward to the top side. Him and the 24 made contact with each other, stunted Bailey Turner's momentum, and that was all it took to get the 48 back in front. Plus, he was able to hold off Sturgill into turn number 1, the next set of corners. That was really important. Although that time by, Turner was a 10th faster than Jeff Wright. Still got a ways to go to get to him, but he did creep a little bit closer that time by. Sturgill was faster than those top 2, and Josh Adams was faster than all of the top 3 last time by. Look at the times this time by. Turner only really a few hundredths faster. Josh Adams was over half a second faster than the top 3 last time by.
They overdrove their stuff up here in the top 3. I can tell you that for certain. When we saw that side by side, and then Sturgill took it all the way to the bottom. We saw with Alec Martinez, he fell back to 6th. Josh Adams has been methodically picking his way through this top 10. He has a real opportunity here, at the very least, to get a top 3. And we saw last week at Talladega where he was one of the faster cars, worked well in the draft, and had he not got trapped a lap down with the situation on pit road, I think he could have been up in the top 3.
Yeah, even if this goes green, it's not over yet for sure. Dakota Floyd and Josh Adams were 2 of the fastest drivers on the track. Turner was another 10th and a half faster than Jeff Wright. He's really started to close in on this 48. Josh Adams going for 3rd to be inside of Michael Sturgill. If he can keep these tires fresh for the last 16 laps, he has a real shot at it, but he has to make these passes as quick as possible before Bailey Turner potentially gets by that 48. Who knows what will happen in that battle? We've seen him make contact for the lead before. Remember Atlanta last season? And obviously 10 minutes ago. He's right there. He caught him in a hurry.
Does he return the favor to Jeff Wright though through 3 and 4?
Oh,
or does he move him out of the way?
I think I would return a favor. He didn't have to. He just got him arrow loose, got him up the racetrack, back side by side. I don't know if Jeff Wright has the tire to fight him here. Big dive here for the 24. He just has much more tire. I don't think Jeff Wright has anything left. He's clear up. If he takes it, he's got him.
Will we see a send back to the inside? No, we will not.
He just used this stuff up big time, just keeping a lead, and it really seems to be hurting him. You see Turner, that time he fired it much harder in a turn number 3, but he still got a decent run out of 4. The only thing keeping the 48 close is the draft down the front straightaway. But even then, last time by, Josh Adams was faster than both of them.
Do we add 5 to the list? Does Josh Adams have something for this top 2? Far down on the apron, that was the 12 of Logan Threlkel. Got a little bit loose there out of turn 2. He's going to fall back here a little bit. Loses about 2 spots there.
And one thing to keep in mind, excuse me, oh, we got a driver in the grass on the front stretch. Someone just flew through the grass, almost flipped it. Stephen Davis, he kept it straight. But one thing I was about to note, we didn't know who hit last yellow and who didn't. Josh Adams is a driver on fresher tires than those top 2. As you'll see Stephen Davis, he almost flipped here. Look at this. Whoa!
Almost got into the 26, last week's winner there. Donnie Kite.
And meanwhile, that's what I was talking about at the front. Josh Adams, Dakota Floyd, that's why they're faster. They pit. They have fresher tires than the top 2 who are side by side for the lead again. So he has the best tires in the field, and he has the 2 leaders right in front of him. Oh, they almost hit again. And he's right there. He might get both of them right here.
Good defense here from the 24. He's going to keep him off the line here, but Not enough to hold it down.
Oh, A48 almost hit the wall. He almost turned Bailey Turner there. Adams led that lap. He's got the tires. I think if he gets by, he's gone.
This is a 10-lap advantage we're talking about.
Turner trying to pinch him down. He's just trying to hold him up any way possible, but I think if Adams just fires into 3 hard, slides up in front of him, he's got it, but he's not able to do it.
Stabs
he
the throttle a little
sideways.
earlier.
Couldn't do it that time, but he's still got 10 laps. He's got to be patient. He still has a tire advantage. They haven't evened out yet. He just has to really bide his time and not be too aggressive.
I don't even have words for this right now. This battle between first and third. Bailey Turner, Josh Adams, Jeff Wright. Jeff Wright looking for his first win this season. Contact with the 6.
I think Turner tried to kind of block him a little bit. It was a little too late. They came together, but you could tell how much more tire Josh Adams has. So much better through the center of 3 and 4, even running the bottom of the racetrack. And now they're dead even here, but we saw the last time Adams cannot drive into 3 as hard when he's under Bailey Turner. And don't count Dakota Floyd out. He also has fresher tires. He's in the 4th position.
Cannot complete the pass on the inside through 3 and 4, but the 6 of Josh Adams door to door with the 24 of Bailey Turner looking for his 5th win of the season. Josh Adams looking for his first. And here comes the 57 of Dakota Floyd to the back bumper of Jeff Wright. It's a 4-way battle for the lead. Less than 10 to go from Kentucky.
Let's not count out Michael Sturgill. He's right there in 5th if anything happens with these top 4. As Adams, that bottom line just not working for him. Jeff Wright drove it hard into turn number 3, trying to get the spot back. I think he drove it in too hard, though. Adams going to keep that 2nd spot, but he's got to gear up another run on Bailey Turner. And now you got Dakota Floyd, also with fresh tires, trying to get that 3rd spot. Oh, Adams got clean air on the top side. Turner gave him the top. I don't think he should have, but Adams a little sideways up there, lost some ground.
Running out of laps here. How many times you want to poke and prod?
I don't think you have much time to. You got to get them in case there's a yellow at this point. And I think at this point, I'm not even sure if they have tires left. Some of these guys, they have taken tires on lap 9. I don't know who did and who didn't at this point, but that can play a factor if we get a late yellow as well. Who even has a set of tires left? As Adams is once again trying to higher line as there's all this sort of battling going on for the 10th position with Seth Hatchell almost into the top 10. What a run this could be for him back up through the field. Getting by Alec Martinez, Villalobos sideways. He saved it, but loses some track position because of it.
We're going to hit the 5 to go mark, and Seth Hatchell now into the top 10 as he goes by the 43 car. Gets loose. Hold on to it.
No, he's going to spin, and that's going to be a caution under 5 to go. Oh, that changes everything. Oh, we got more drivers involved. Donnie Kite, last week's winner, crashed hard. Oh, what a shame. Hatchell was having such a good recovery.
He got by the 43. There was a top 10 here.
Maybe just driving a touch too hard.
I don't know if netcode was a factor.
Couldn't tell if he lost it or had contact from Martinez. It was really close. And I think someone had contact with Kite there to put him in the wall. I couldn't tell who. It might have been the 84. Man, he hit this inside wall just as hard. We're going to have really mixed pit stops here on a green-white checkered. This is going to, for lack of a better term, all hell will break loose. I think Hatchell had fresh tires, so he was making his way up through the field. Gets him here, a little sideways, some arrow loose. Maybe a slight touch, but I think he was loose anyways. Right here, let's see what happens. Oh, there's nothing Ganekin could do. Trying to avoid the spinning 8 car. Nowhere to go. Nowhere for Donnie Kite to go. Nowhere for Elliott Butler to go either. That's how that happened. Meanwhile, pit stops are on. Some drivers staying out. Bryce Shoemaker is going to stay out. Could be a spin and win. Caleb Weekly stays out. Nick Wood stays out. And now for the drivers on pit road, is it 2 or 4? I think I know what Bailey Turner's play is, but who else will join him?
Oh, Jeff Wright missed the box just a little bit there as well.
He might have to audible to 2 tires. Someone already took 2. It's Michael Sturgill, as did Bailey Turner. So 2 drivers on 2 tires at least. I think everyone else took 4. Jeff Wright might have taken 2. Ben Bafford might have taken 2. Yeah, Jeff Wright definitely took 2. I think everyone's called on. I saw a lot of 2 tires there. Then Carwile, Horonis, Floyd. I think they all took 2 tires. Floyd might have taken 4, but Josh Adams also definitely took 4.
Well, just before we hit this restart, it's going to be green-white checkered territory here for Saturday Night Racing League. We're going to get a quick word from our sponsors, but don't worry, we'll be right back here on VSPEED. The action's just getting good. Tune in here in just a moment from Kentucky.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit
It is green-white checkered time on Saturday night. You got 3 drivers staying out. Bryce Shoemaker, Caleb Weekly, Nick Wood. From Bailey Turner back to Angela Horonis, they took 2 tires. The first driver on 4 is Dakota Floyd, the first green-white checkered attempt. I don't know who's going to win it. You don't either. Let's find out together. They're going to get into the Geico restart zone right now with 2 laps to go. The green flag is out. 2 more laps to decide the winner of Kentucky. Caleb Weekly spun the tires big time. Bryce Shoemaker, a big run. A great jump on the restart as they're side-by-side for second.
And the 48 and the 24 pick up right where they left off, but here goes Sturgill to second position. Angela Horonis, they're 4 wide in the background.
Michael
Done.
Sturgill. No, they're not done yet, but Michael Sturgill got ahead of everyone else. He's on 2 tires. He's passed. He's got the race lead. Oh, Bailey Turner in the 54. They crashed out of turn number 4. There's going to be no caution. The white flag is out. The race is official. There will be no caution. No more restart. It's Michael Sturgill and Jeff Wright ahead of the rest of the field. 2 tires for both of them. This is the battle for the victory. Sturgill and Wright. Can Jeff Wright get there in time? Can he make any sort of move? He dives hard onto the top of turn number 3 and 4. Does he have the grip? Does he bounce off the wall? Can he do anything? He hits the wall hard. He will not get there. Michael Sturgill is going to steal the win at Kentucky in unbelievable fashion. He led 2 whole laps. And he gets the victory.
I am super surprised the yellow didn't come out there.
You're not alone. I cannot believe iRacing didn't trigger the caution, but I remember reading the notes. That was part of the update, that it doesn't trigger as close to the start-finish line anymore. That was definitely a product of it, because That should have been a yellow.
Can I
But
get a look here at Logan Threlkeld right now?
where did he end up in all that? I mean,
13th.
everyone wrecked. 13th. That's great for him. Tell you what, Seth Hatchell still got 17th out of it. He's probably okay with 13th. Bailey Turner, all those guys are going to be livid with how that played out. Bailey Turner comes home 22nd. Josh Adams, who was fighting for the win, comes home 24th. Wow. Michael Sturgill, he needed that too. He really needed something to go his way. He had not had a win, and this is his second career win in this series. He had not won since all the way back at, I believe, Phoenix last November. That might have been even another series. But he had been waiting for his second career win in this series for a while. It had been actually in this series since October of 2023 as we're looking at everyone who crashed. It was all but maybe a dozen cars. Wow.
Logan Threlkeld just passed like 15 cars.
Kind of wall road. He just kind of put it to the wall and sent it. That's kind of what happens. You got all these drivers on different tire strategies. The drivers on no tires, you know they're not going to get through 3 and 4 at all. I mean, you saw it from the 54 here. I didn't quite see why they made contact. We'll get the best view here. I mean, they're not going to grip up in 3 and 4. 54 up the track. 3 gets by. They're 3 wide out of turn number 4. 54 is really pinching down the track. Him and Turner make contact. It just collects everyone. I mean, Happyak gets through, but that's about it. Yeah, Josh Adams, big piece of it there. But, yeah, definitely, that's one of the new iRacing updates, that yellow. Even if the admins did throw manual cautions, which they don't in this series, when you get to a certain point closer to the start-finish line, you cannot throw the yellow. That is an iRacing issue, an iRacing update, not something they control. And meanwhile, the battle for the win, Jeff Wright just kind of tried to send it Larson style. It didn't quite work, and the strategy paid off for Michael Sturgill, no doubt.
Post-race interviews with your top 3. Final race results. Lost for words here, as Michael Sturgill led 2 laps tonight. I think one of them was under yellow. So
I think the other one might have been the white flag, actually. That's all he needed.
That's all he needed. Congratulations to Michael Sturgill. We are going to get those final results unofficially, because we really have no clue what just happened. And we'll get back to you here on VSPEED. You are watching Saturday Night Racing League and their Cup Series live from Kentucky. Post-race interviews right after this.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back here live at Kentucky, where we had a green-white checker to settle everything out. And the drivers that were dominant for the day, when you name Jeff Wright, when you name the 24 of Bailey Turner, you throw out Angela Huronis' name, it's Michael Sturgill, who had 2 laps left to finish this thing out. He will become victorious here today. And, well, I don't know why I'm showing the grid. There's the final results with 5 cautions, 15 lead changes. Sturgill from 18th position, 2 laps led, the most important one at the very end of this thing. Jeff Wright, I think he deserves a top 3, but Nick Hapiak and Dakota Floyd, I mean, so many names up here in the top 10. Julio Villalobos and Dakota Floyd, that's a trade-off there. Floyd probably is in the mix for the win of this race before we have that caution. Julio Villalobos barely on the top 10. He gets a top 5 to finish out the night. Ryan Carwile, top 5 car. He's going to finish 6th. Kenny Kibbe, decent recovery and decent motive here at the end of this race. He was in the top 10 all night long from 36th position, but that green-white checker, nothing was guaranteed. 7th spot. Stephon Davis in 8th position. Bryce Shoemaker, who was part of that contact, and this might go down as controversial. We saw the replay. He'll finish 9th, and Alec Martinez will get a top 10 spot. Take it away, Connor. I'm still trying to sort this out.
I think we all are. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things discussed after that type of finish. No doubt. Ben Lafter, he started 39th. He gets 11th out of it. I think he'll take that, no doubt. Elliott Butler finishes 12th. Logan Threlkeld all the way up to 13th. He restarted 25th and got all the way up there, just avoiding the crash. Same thing for Matt Shanowski, 14th for him. Caleb Weekly, 15th. Case Licata, 16th. Seth Hatchell, I don't want to know how he feels. He was running top 10. He brought out the yellow to trigger the green-white checkered. He ends up 17th out of the whole deal. Keith Shoemaker, he will not be the most controversial Shoemaker tonight. He finished 18th position. Mike Sturgill in the 53, while Michael won. He got a top 20 finish. That might be his best finish of the season. We'll have to confirm that. In 20th position, he was top 5 in points. Not a good finish for J.R. Shepard, but after everything that transpired, maybe top 20, not the worst thing in the world for him. But outside the top 20, you got a lot of those drivers that deserved better.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of drivers with single-digit starting spots, with Bailey Turner and Ben Bafford, 21st, 22nd. Rob Denton, improvement. 7 spots gained here for the 93. Josh Adams, he was in contention to win this race as well. He was in the top 4 to finish this thing out just before that caution. Nick Wood started in 17th. He falls back. He gets involved in this. Reggie Ortega, definitely a top 10 car. 26 for him. Max Cost, problems here at the later end. 27th. Eddie Trejo, 28th. Benjamin Richards, he had some problems here tonight. I'm not quite sure why the intervals are broken here, but Angela Huronis, another one of those cars in the top 3, top 5 runner. He led laps. He finishes 30th. Tough break for everyone from 21st back to 30th.
I think Coronis, in that last lap crash, he went down pit road to avoid it. That might be why he's a lap down. They're going to have to sort out the results post-broadcast for sure. AJ Travado shown in 31st. He ran better than that after the restart incident that happened to him, but he couldn't recover either. And then a lot of drivers who just they weren't able to finish the race. Clark Neck in 32nd. Donnie Kite, last week's winner, not a good way to back up that result, finishing 33rd. Broderick Lavick 34th. Brendan Wallace 35th. Those two had contact while we were under break. Austin Belkey 36th. He was caught up in the first yellow of the race. James Lehman, that freak crash with Chad Klinger and Christopher Hodges, they all finished bumper to bumper, 37th, 38th, 39th. And our final finisher of tonight, Rob Hampton, 40th, who wrecked out a little bit earlier and Tyler Dohar didn't start the race, he would have been our 41st starter. But wow, that's one of the wildest finishes we've seen. I don't have your feed. I don't know if we'll get a replay of that last lap crash. A, big crash. B, shocked it's not a yellow, but that is not something the admins can control. Even if they wanted to trigger, I know this from experience, if you want to trigger that yellow, once you get to a certain point closer to the start-finish line, coming to the white flag, iRacing won't let that yellow be triggered anymore. So that is not something really anyone in the admin booth can even control. That's just how it is now since an update a few months ago. So really, really unfortunate, because even though we were going to have a lot of people crash anyways, that was very early before the start finish line where the yellow wasn't triggered. Very surprised.
Well, I'm going to try to go back to this here, what you're talking about, and we'll back it up just a little bit here. But one more time here on the live look, what we saw here for this restart, and we'll take a look. It's 3 wide, it's 4 wide, the 27, the 54. All these drivers in the top 3 did not take tires. You also have desperation moves from drivers that started up front trying to get back up there.
Look at Martinez down there looking
4
4 wide.
Yeah, this just utter chaos from 10th on back.
But they did make that work. But what doesn't work, Shoemaker slides on old tires. He's not giving Bailey Turner enough room. You could see the room towards the wall. They're wrecking here. They're at a turn number 4. The yellow it's obviously a yellow before the line, but because of how iRacing triggers yellows now, it does not come out. There's nothing anyone can do when iRacing just doesn't trigger the yellow. It wasn't even close. I don't understand how they messed that up so bad, but there's nothing the admins can do. I've seen this in other leagues, and it took out so many drivers who were having very good runs. Obviously, the contact out of 4 is what a lot of people are going to be upset about as well, but definitely should have been a yellow. So many drivers got caught up in it, including J.R. Shepard. They did a good job avoiding that, but still got spun in the process.
And I just want to go back one more time and watch this guy go from the 27th up to the 13th.
Almost like he's navigating a cave somewhere. In his little Indiana Jones hat. Whoa, look out. That was Bailey. That was Trejo. And then, I'm through it. Hit the throttle. Still racking up
happening.
here. Watch the wall. Find the wall. And tap off it a little bit. That's how you get a top 15, I suppose. He's still not done here. He'll get by 31. He's got to shoot the gap on the 16 as well. And he probably has 4 tires, too. At least some of these guys might have 2.
That's just awesome. But there's the guy that got the victory here tonight.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jeff Wright, he wasn't close enough to really challenge Sturgill. Tried to bounce it off the wall. He had second wrapped up anyway. Just nothing he could do at that point.
Well, with that, though, we do have to talk to our top 3. We got through our final race results, and I think the first driver that we are going to talk to is Nick Hapiak in the number 06, and I've caught up with him down on pit road, 3rd place finisher here tonight. Juicy Spiders Studio up in the broadcast booth. Nick, do you got a copy?
I do. How's it going? I finally made it for an interview.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're not going to put any asterisks on this at all. You navigated that wreck. You found your way around all of the chaos. You're up here in the broadcast booth with what could have been a much worse finish. And I feel like here tonight, this is one of those things that you just breathe a sigh of relief. Thank God it's over.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I had speed. I, of course, did what I do best and blew my qualifying run. But I feel like I should have started top 10. It's just so hard getting through the traffic. The dirty air is just terrible. And that was why we saw Jeff and a few others come in and pit with like 10 laps or so on their tires at the beginning, and they drove all the way up to the lead. So I'm like, well, hey, let's try it. I'm stuck back here in like 20th. Let's give it a whirl. And we drove up to the front. Josh actually at one point was going for the lead, and I was, I think, 5th or 6th or something like that when the caution came out. But yeah, I saw all that smoke, and my first thought was, well, death approaches. So I just kept my foot in it, and luckily nobody came back up.
Well, when you go back, you restarted there on that green-white checkered and around the 12th position. You had your teammate to the inside. I know that 4 fresh tires was advantageous here all night long, but even so, it seemed like the tires evened out after, 10 to 15 laps, and you kind of felt yourself going stagnant. Unless these guys got racing side by side, it was very difficult to make up any ground after those 10 to 15 laps.
Yeah, it definitely evened out. I mean, there was definitely an advantage. You could get the car to rotate. You could run the bottom a lot easier. It was just after those 10 to 15 laps, you started losing your drive off, which, every time it's going to go to the guy on the outside with the momentum. So it did make it harder, but, you could kind of compensate for that a little bit by driving in a little deeper, or, even running the top yourself and getting that run off and then taking it down the straightaway. But the definite sheer advantage, I even said, like, first 5 laps into that run, I said, man, I feel like Superman out here. But that didn't last very long. But I mean, I can't complain. It's been a horrible start to the season. It's been sort of coming together the last few weeks. Had a couple solid finishes, but I didn't foresee a third. That's for sure. I'll take it.
Well, congratulations on the 3rd place finish. And I know that we've gotten close to getting you up here in the booth. There were some things that went on there. I think it was at Kern County where you had a situation where you could have got a podium, got really close to it, but now finally up here in the broadcast booth. Go ahead and shout them out. I know you've been waiting to do that for a long time.
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, definitely. Donnie Kite, Josh Adams, Mike Morgan, Juicy Spider Studios, Racing, Gaming, everybody from SNR that puts this thing on, High Side Podcast, NJB Designs for the awesome looking cars, you guys for putting everything on. I've never been so excited to finish 3rd. I feel like I really did something tonight, even though, like you said, it's kind of got an asterisk on it because I avoided a wreck. But hey, it's good points. It moves me up the standings list, and that's a good day.
I said we weren't putting an asterisk on it. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. We're not going to redact anything. You got 3rd place. They don't ask you how, they ask you how many. Congratulations on the top 3, Nick.
I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Nick Hapiak, 3rd place finish from 20th position in the chaos that was our green-white checkered here tonight at Kentucky.
Welcome back. Bradley down here.
Well, somehow I pulled myself into the broadcast booth. I have no idea how I did that, Connor.
It was not me. I can promise you it wasn't me.
I definitely did it myself. I don't even know.
That's a first.
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
with that, we're going to move on to our 2nd place finisher, and I think Connor Horn has caught up with Jeff Wright.
I do have Jeff Wright, and Jeff, you led a lot more laps tonight, kind of like Auto Club, maybe not as dominant, but it was another one of those races. You were at the front, racing for the win. Yellow comes out. Now, obviously, what transpired. What were your thoughts on the final 2 laps of the race?
Yeah, that was chaotic for sure. Thankfully, this time I was kind of out of the conversation from my own doing. I kind of ran my stuff there off at the end and just really hard battling with Bailey. And we were both kind of getting into it a little bit. He got into me a little bit early, and so I kind of figured that kind of opened up the door for me a little bit to rough him up a little bit just to get the lead back because, I knew, whoever was going to get out front was going to win that race had it gone green. But, last 2 laps, it's kind of becoming a recurring thing. We get to these green-white checkers and just kind of becomes a disaster, but thankfully we were able to get through this time. So I guess I'm happy about that, but unfortunate, a lot of really good guys got collected in that and didn't get the finishes that they deserve. So, but that happens. Green-white checkers, it gets crazy, and people just they put everything out on the line, and you're gonna have stuff like this happen. And so just a little bit unfortunate. I thought it was a really great race, so a little disappointed to see it kind of end like that. But all in all, 2nd place, the way the season's kind of gone for me, I'll take it, and I'll get the points and get out of here is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely got the points. You're tied fourth in points, 38 back of Bailey Turner after what transpired the final 2 laps. Kind of a double question for you. Were you surprised the yellow didn't fly? I know that was a shock for a lot of people, and also how important was track position? Because it seemed like if you got clean air after 5-10 laps, you couldn't be passed.
Yeah, it was everything, and that's why I kind of went on that alternate strategy to try to get off sequence to give myself a shot at getting to the lead, and thankfully it worked. I mean, we were able to get out front and lead a lot of laps tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy. And I don't know, I forgot the last part of your question, Connor, but
shock of the yellow not coming out, because
yeah, the yellow
early out of 4.
Yeah, I thought it was coming out for sure. I think I even jumped out of the gas a little bit. I thought yellow for sure was coming out, and then it didn't. So I stabbed back in it, and I didn't have anything for Michael there. I drove it in as hard as I could, and I thought maybe bounce it off the wall. I don't know, but I had no shot at that point. But yeah, we'll take second for sure.
You'll take it, no doubt. Even though you led 94 laps, at least you get something out of the day where a lot of people didn't get something out of the day. So at least congrats on the top 3. Anyone you want to thank, shout out.
Yeah, just thank you and Bradley up in the booth, covering us all season long. You guys do phenomenal work. And obviously all of our sponsors, M&J Distributors, Clark Print Shop, Juicy Spider, RSR Driver Cam, Walk and Roll Costumes, FireStorm Racing, everybody that helps us put on this league and continue doing these things. We couldn't do it without them. And then just all the other co-league admins, got to shout them out too for all the hard work. It's been awesome to get these large field sizes. So, big shout out Chad Klinger, Reggie Ortega, Brian Chamos for all they do as well. And yeah, we'll move on. I don't actually even know where we're going next. I think we're going to short track. So I don't know. Maybe this is maybe it's only the beginning of the wild chaos we're seeing here. We'll see.
It is Richmond next week, and I hate to give you this stat, but also the last time you led the most laps, it was Auto Club, and you also got second. But how chaotic that final lap was, I think you'll take second. Congrats on at least getting the runner-up finish. We'll see you next week at the short track.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Connor.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Connor, that leaves us one left here in the broadcast booth, and it's down to victory lane for your first place finisher. Michael Sturgill has figured out a way to just best them all. Well, let's go back to the main part of this race, where starting in 18th, you clawed your way up into the top 10, but it seemed like passing got difficult once you got to that threshold. And, working around 7th, 8th position, it never seemed like the tires were there. But then you get a green, white checkered, and here it is. You suddenly have the best car.
Yeah, I had a hair on my mic when I was qualifying, and I went to get it, and I qualified like shit. So I knew it was going to be a struggle, but yeah, every time I'd get up around 7th or 8th, the tires would just be cooked, and I think I tried to pass Reggie 2 or 3 times, but I could only get underneath him, and if the guy knew how to run the top well, he would just hang on your outside, and trying to get around him was impossible, really. And then that restart before the last long run, I don't know what happened. People were getting into each other all over the place, and I snuck through and grabbed a few spots and ended up 3rd, and that really helped because I could just kind of sit there and run the pace I wanted to run and not really worry about anyone racing me and burning my tires up. So it worked out.
Well, I also have to go back to, we have a Mike Sturgill in this race as well, and I believe he finished 19th with that chaos that happened in the back of the field. Can you attest to that?
Yeah, that was insane. I'm coming out of 3 and 4, and I saw Bailey's car get hooked up into the wall, and I mean, honestly, I was like, well, at least I don't have to compete with him anymore. But so I had the white flag on my screen, and I thought for sure it'd be a caution. It never came out, which actually surprised me. And I'm looking at my rear view, and literally all I see is one car behind me, and that was Jeff. The whole entire field looked like they just exploded. It was pretty nuts.
It did.
Yeah. I watched it. I watched the replay back, and yeah, it was just carnage back there.
Even my overlays triggered a yellow. I don't know exactly what happened there, but my overlays popped a yellow, and you can go back on the broadcast and look at this. I don't know why iRacing was just like, no. but that happened well before the line. And you just, I don't know. I don't know if there's some kind of mystic things going on here with the 3-car tonight.
Maybe it went my way for once. Usually I've had them throw it like as I'm crossing the line on the white before, and I don't know how it wasn't a yellow. It should have been a yellow, but at least it went my way this time.
Nonetheless, Michael Sturgill, you are added to the list here in season 4 of victories, and it's a very limited list because Bailey Turner had such a hot start to the season, and you've got drivers that are previous champions in this league that haven't even found their way to victory lane yet. Pretty limited list, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on it. I actually, when we ran Kern, I thought that was going to be my night, and then got caught up in some issues early in the race, and I think Bailey might have won that one too, but Bailey definitely had a hot start to the season. I'm hoping I'm heating up right now, and I guess I'd be the first multi-time winner this season besides Bailey, so maybe we can go next week and do that.
Michael Sturgill, congratulations. Is there anybody you want to shout out while we have you in the broadcast booth?
Yeah, you guys always put on a great broadcast. The admins that run this league, it's pretty impressive when you have, 40 car fields and you're turning people away at a lot of the tracks this year. And then my teammates Chad Klinger and my dad Mike Sturgill, who's also my teammate. And I think that's got them wrapped up.
Appreciate your time here, and hopefully we get to see you next week at Richmond.
Yeah, we'll try.
Michael Sturgill, winner here tonight in race number 8. We look forward to bringing you more flag-to-flag coverage here. Connor, I tell you what, this race, it had a variety of season 2, season 3, where we got really, really spoiled, and we saw a lot of green flag runs and a lot going on there. Now it's not so much fuel mileage and strategy on pit stops. It's more of the chaos that ensues at the tail end of these races and who can survive all the way to the end.
Yeah, we've seen already multiple green-white checkers to end this season. I believe Texas had a late race restart, but not a green-white checkered. Obviously, Auto Club and Kern back-to-back. Great green flag finishes at Atlanta, Canadian Tire, and Talladega. But obviously, it's just kind of a mix of all the seasons of Saturday Night Racing League. You had long green flag runs. You had our yellows, but we had a lot of green flag running tonight. Not enough for green flag pit stops, but still good racing. We're going to have a great race for the win with the multiple tire strategies with the 57, the 6, and the 24. You even had Jeff Wright in that battle as well. The Dakota Floyd was there. The 3 was there as well. And even Nick Hapiak was kind of closing in on those top 5. Then that yellow comes out. And no matter what car you're running, no matter what track you're at, all hell's going to break loose on a green-white checkered. You had some drivers stay out, try to get something out of the day. It didn't end up working. They wreck out of 4. Bailey Turner, Bryce Shoemaker not happy with each other. That'll be something to follow later in the season as we go on for sure. But still shocked that yellow didn't come out. And at that point, like you were kind of saying, it comes down to survival. And Michael Sturgill did just enough to get the track position, to get past the wreck, and survive just enough to lead the final 2 laps and get his first win since October of 2023 in this series.
Well, here we go to the Monster Mile for race number 9 of the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series on April 5th. You can tune in at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Logan Threlkeld will be back up here for production with Jeff Wright. Again, that's April 5th, and you can hit the subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We cover both the Challenger Series and the Cup Series here on VSPEED. Saturday Night Racing League has put on a great 6 seasons here on VSPEED, and we look to continue the same as we go back-to-back at 7:45 and 10 p.m. It's the 1 Mile racetrack in Delaware, concrete oval, and then we go on to Richmond for the Cup Series at 10 p.m. Be sure to tune in for that as well. For everybody here at VSPEED, though, Adam Baker in the background for all he does, my co-commentator up in the broadcast booth, Connor Horn. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Kentucky. We'll see you in 1 week's time next Saturday. Until then, everyone, stay tracking.